Hey guys, and welcome to another Polymer clay tutorial. Today we are going to create Tilly from the Star Trek universe, but also the game Star Trek Online. And I forgot to mention this in the intro, we will give Tilly a cool green phaser. I found this tiny green LED light while tidying up my room, and somehow I wanted to include this into my next creation, which is Sylvia Tilly. You know her from the favorite CBS show Star Trek Discovery, but she's also playing an important role in the game Star Trek Online. Well, in the new update, which came this summer, I think, Age of Discovery, I'm happy to announce that Star Trek Online is sponsoring today's video, and I will tell you more about this game in a minute. But let's jump in, let's create the first layers of Tilly. I somehow was happy with the color choice, because I think the typical blue suit is a bit darker. So after a while I started all over again to mix in some really dark blue. If you don't have this type of dark blue, you can just throw in some black and some blue, and here you see the difference. Slicing again, and let's start all over again. Sometimes I'm just not happy with the color choices, and I decide that I have to start all over again. Dressing Tilly, and we will get there. Well, right now she looks like, I don't know, what does she look like? More like an alien. But we will get there. I'm using the scalpel to get her body into shape. And this is the first working step after coating the aluminum wire with the clay. And now I'm using the clay shaper to close all the gaps. Probably you know the game Star Trek Online. It's out a few years now, but the update is quite new. I just told you this summer. Star Trek Online, well, this game is free to play, and it's a massive multiplayer online game. The only one where you can have battles on the ground, but also in space. Let's watch the trailer from the latest update together.
We hadn't heard from the Klingons for years.
That looks sick.
When we did, it was terrible. In a matter of minutes, the Federation was pulled into war.
This is her voice from the show, right?
I joined Starfleet to become an explorer a few years earlier. I watched many of my classmates ship out for duty. Watched as they prepared to fight.
Let's listen to it while creating.
Still, we are all waiting. Waiting for the day we go to the stars in peace. Unfortunately, not everyone felt that way.
I like them so much. Oh, that was a great trailer. If you haven't played the game before, you can download it for free. It's available for PC, Xbox, and also PlayStation 4. So check it out if you haven't. I'll include a link right in the description. I haven't told that before, right? Let's come back to the creation. The suit is almost finished, and we start creating the boots. This is just a thin layer of black clay. You put it over the blue clay, and this is always a bit more difficult to create the lower part of the boots, because this is the part where the creation will be standing on, and we will create a stand for this creation. You will see that in a minute, but for a creation where you don't want to create a stand, it's essential that you pay some extra attention to the feet, that it is stable and standing, and you have just seen that it works already quite fine. The suit is made out of two parts. This is the upper part and the lower part, and there's a pocket right on the leg. So we will create that as well. And there's a golden zipper. While creating, I was not really sure if I should paint it or if I should use the golden clay for all the details. I decided, or I ended up creating the zippers and also the Starfleet insignia on the breast. And all the lines on the suit I want to draw with a golden pen after oven hardening. For the logo we take some black clay, a very thin layer, and we also have to draw in 4 lines, and we will add the logo right on top. And it looks nice. Now we have all the important parts made by Silver on the suit, and we can go on and create the hands. I tend to create hands a little bit too big, but as Tilly is created quite realistic, or at least I hope it looks realistic in the end, I wanted to create them even smaller than I felt during creating. This also happens a lot to my Fortnite skins as well. Most of the hands are a little bit too big, but maybe you haven't noticed that. This will be the right hand, and Tilly is wearing in this hand the phaser. We will place that in a minute, but as the green LED light should be working, we need some cables. I don't have any cables, so I have to use this thin wire, and this should also work if they are not touching. I'm attaching 2 tiny batteries on the back. You won't see them in the end. And oh, it's working! Look at that! The tiny LED light works, but we have to modify it a little bit in order to get it into the phaser, which we will create right now. I know there are thousands of different models for phasers, and I'm not that familiar with all the different models, so I'm really sorry if I upset someone by choosing the wrong phaser for Tilly. We will place it into the hand. It's all really fragile, and I'm afraid to break anything, so I better be careful while attaching the neck. And now we can, well, put around this blue wrapper for the neck, that she always stays warm and comfortable. But she got hit! Look at that! No, she's wounded! She's wounded. Is she bleeding? Yes, she's bleeding! No! I use red clay, but we will also use some acrylic paint, some acrylic color after oven hardening. So, let's start with the head. I'm always frightened because I'm really good at screwing up on faces. What I learned so far from creating so many mistakes in faces is don't create too many details on the face, because each detail which is not perfectly right tends to create somehow the feeling of awkwardness. This will be the color for the hair. Well, she has orange hair, but orange hair is never orange. It's more like brown, red, ochre orange. You get me? We're attaching it onto her bald head and also her ears. I am building them in on the right side and adding some tiny hairs for the details. I had to change the eyes. This should be better, a bit bigger. Well, at least the eyes should be okay. And the eyebrows. I'm really careful, I can't talk much while focusing. This will be the stand, brown and gray, and don't mix it too strong so that you still have this profile and it looks just interesting. And we will place another layer on top, but just making it a bit bigger, the surface. So this is the surface for the mud. And now all we need are some plants. Let's bring this into shape, and we can start adding some green to the scenery. Well, there are different sets in the game. You even have all the 4 quadrants, including over 100 unique Star Trek locations, and well, I had New Romulus, this planet, in mind while creating the stand. So we will add some bigger leaves to this tiny plant as well. And I want to place one on the left and one on the right, so that Tilly will be framed by all the wild vegetation on this planet. That's it for the first plant. And now this will be the second one. Let's try out, let's place Tilly in the middle. It looks great, I think. Adding some grass, and we are ready to go into the oven. Freshly baked Tilly and freshly baked New Romulus stand. This is the golden pen I had. Unfortunately, it was a bit dry, so it was very difficult to paint on the surface. I just ordered a new pen for the next tutorial, but I think it will be still working for this suit. The eyes, very important. I think it's the first time I'm actually drawing the iris, and I really like how it turns out. Should have done that earlier. This is the acrylic paint, adding some red and maybe even some black for the burning injury, also on the fabric as well. You can already smell the injury. Adding the LED light to the phaser, and hopefully it works. I'm connecting the wire, and look at that, it is working. But well, the phaser has more of a stream coming out, the light beam. So I'm using this device for cleaning your ears and my glue gun to attach it. It doesn't really work with super glue, I'm not sure why, but well, if all glues on the world are failing, the hot glue gun is working anyway. And it works! It looks great, I think, in dark. Oh, look at the bright shining in her eyes. That's it! Tilly with her phaser! Before today's video is over, go check out Star Trek Online with the latest update. I have a link down in the description for you. I guess that's it for today. I hope you had a great time watching this video. See you on Friday. Take care. Bye!